All right. Welcome to this week's episode of Cybersecurity Unfiltered or Cyber Unfiltered. We're still not entirely sure because we can't pick a name. I'm here with Matt and Bob. Matt is it's been a struggle for Matt.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back, but it's been a struggle.
So it's been a week. Life happens.
Oh man. Well, not just that. We were green rooming it up right before this, talking about some stuff, and there's been some issues today.
Listen, just because I have two laptops that can't connect and my cell phone connected and the battery died and I went back to a different machine doesn't mean I'm having trouble. Somebody get me the IT guy.
Look in the mirror, dude.
I know a person or a couple. No matter how bad of a day that we're having though, if you have a SonicWall VPN on a current generation SonicWall and your users are connecting, you might have a worse day than all of us.
Another firewall issue.
Yeah.
Well, and what's different about this than last time? Because last time we were talking about older versions. Not anymore.
Yeah, this is a currently happening 0 day that SonicWall doesn't know how to stop right now. They told people to turn off VPN for their clients. So if you have a SonicWall VPN and it's current generation 7, and you have the SSL VPN enabled, you're told to turn that off.
So what's actually happening?
That's the interesting part. If you want to go timeline wise, let's go back to.
No, I'm more. I was more thinking for people that are listening, if they have if they have a SonicWall, they may or may not be using the VPN features. Their IT support guys might have it turned on for their own access. Yeah. But what is this vulnerability doing to people?
Basically, it looks like it's a complete bypass, and they could just use the VPN to get into your network without credentials, is what it looks like at this point.
Okay.
And then they start doing stuff like ransomware. So that's bad. If we go back to July 15th, Arctic Wolf first noticed that there was a ransomware activity uptick, and they looked at it and they saw that SonicWall SSL VPNs were kind of like the initial attack vector. So that was the entry point into the network. Huntress noticed a little bit more of that on July 25th. In late July, Arctic Wolf again had multiple pre-ransomware intrusions, all originating from SonicWall SSL VPNs. They noticed there was a very short interval too between the initial access and the ransomware deployment. That means they're getting in very quickly. So and they're able to get straight to the ransomware deployment. Right now, as of August 5th, SonicWall has publicly confirmed that they are actively investigating a potential zero-day vulnerability in collaboration with Mandiant, Arctic Wolf, and Huntress. They don't know the root cause at this point, so they're basically saying turn off SSL VPN, like now. So, if you have an IT company, perhaps you want to talk to them. If you have a SonicWall, you should be talking to people anyway. But if you have a SonicWall, clearly do that.
Yeah, if you have a SonicWall, even if you don't actively use the VPN in it, talk to them and figure out if they have it turned on, because we've actually seen cases where somebody's been compromised and they didn't even know it was turned on.
Well, I like what you said. It might be IT using it. It may not even be end users. Now, if you're distributed though and end users using it, that's going to cause major disruption. Yeah, it's going to cause major disruption in your business dealings. But
you mean people have to come to the office to work? That's a whole other project.
Depends on if they get on a plane to work, right?
Yeah.
But this isn't something that's like abnormal. This one's particularly bad though, because they don't know what the 0 day is right now. So now they're searching for it, and they're gonna have to figure this out. But we've seen a big uptake in attacking these firewalls to deploy ransomware, right? Like, because this is a really easy way to get into the network, because these are published on the internet, so they can see the portals. They can try, and if they can figure out a bypass for a firewall, boom, they're on the network, and now they get to try to do other things.
Well,
I don't know.
A lot of these are integrated with other services, so it's not just your firewall's down or your firewall's compromised. It's they can do other things, figure out how to do other things easily.
Well, and what happens if they can figure out how to authenticate, right, as a user? So I don't know the details of all of these, but if we look back in the last 2 years, just in this 2-year period, we're talking Avanti, Palo Alto, Fortinet, Cisco, Checkpoint, SonicWall have all had multiple CVEs on VPNs being exploited for attacks. Avanti is like far and away the most. They have like 5.
Wow.
But Palo's got 1, Fortinet's got 3, Cisco's at 3, Checkpoint's at 1, and SonicWall's technically at 4 now. They had 3 before. This should be 4 as soon as the CVE gets published, but it hasn't been published yet.
And I think the big thing here, Chris, that people need to remember is they might still have code running in their firewall from one of the versions that actually had this CVE if they're not doing their upgrades or they don't have support.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you don't have support, yeah, because most firewalls block you from updating if you don't have support. So if you just not paid the support structure, which again, highly recommend that you do that. But it kind of highlights another thing that I don't think we've talked too much about. We were joking about it before, like kind of in the green room, about how many services do companies publish to the internet, right? From internal. We joked, was it last week or the week before we were joking about SBS servers, small business servers from Microsoft?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
That was terrible. We used to have so many exposed services like email, just exposed to the internet, right? Sometimes SharePoint that was on that. And what else would you do?
SharePoint was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, back in the SBS days, though, SharePoint was another one. Yeah,
sure.
SharePoint's still a problem, by the way.
Yeah, just behind a basic web login, and there's everything. But
remote. That's right, because we ended up with remote web. We had remote web for remoting things. All these things that you publish on the internet, they're an attack vector for your business.
Yeah.
We were joking a little bit about, I've seen iDRAC, which iDRACs are on Dell servers. It allows you to have like you're sitting in front of a monitor and a keyboard with a mouse in front of the server. That's the level of access it allows you to have through a web browser.
It's like having physical access. That's the whole idea.
I've seen those published on the internet. And Bob, you went and looked up the number that.
Yeah, I did a quick search on one of the public databases and found 17,000 iDRACs just in the time we were talking.
I wish we had a breakdown of how many use the default username and password. That'd be good. But I've seen VMware vCenter or vSphere servers published directly on the internet, and there's been a huge swing in that's used for virtualization. So like a lot of enterprises and even small businesses a lot of the times used VMware to have virtual machines on site so they can have multiple servers. Maybe they only have a couple of physical servers, but then they have multiple services running in servers. And I've seen that published directly to the internet. There's been a huge uptick in ransomware being deployed on those. And that's even worse because the EDR you use or the antivirus that you use isn't being run on VMware. So if they can access VMware and launch ransomware, they just encrypt your servers without actually even being scanned by your antivirus.
So it bypasses it.
We have seen cases in the past where VMware Enterprise did, right? Welcome to streaming.
Yeah. Just glitch.
Let's see. Exchange has been a problem too, right? Microsoft Exchange being published. Obviously, a lot of us have moved to 365, but
we go back to people that are still publishing RDP. They're out there, and they put it on special ports so no one sees it.
But it's so easy to find,
except for all the ones that spider the internet. So these are the types of things that happen, right? Services get published on the internet. SSL VPN for your employees to connect in to do work. That's all exposed to the internet. When you have a vulnerability like this, or you have any kind of vulnerability, it can lead to just like devastation in a company. And these are simple things that just to look at and make sure that you're minimizing how many things are published to the internet. Like, I'm trying to think of like other services that people would have right now. I know I've seen license servers publish to the internet, which is scary. Don't publish file shares directly to the internet.
But I think the big thing really comes down to, we're talking about don't do this, don't do that. And some folks might say, well, I have a business need for it. But then, right, you really don't typically. The world doesn't need to see it if your employees need to see it.
And there's ways to protect it without exposing it to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's ways to grant you access into a network. And historically, VPN's been that, right? VPN's been the way that people can get access to certain tools, certain applications inside of a network from anywhere.
But what's the phrase? Things have changed.
Things have changed, and we've kind of moved on to new technologies that, you know, are kind of supplanting the traditional way of deploying a VPN. And we kind of call VPN now legacy. Think about that. It's a legacy. Yep. It's a legacy technology for client access.
Cutting edge becomes old.
Fair.
Like me.
So we're all old. One of the things that it's moved to is something called SASE, and that's Secure Access Service Edge. And you'll have to tune in next week, though, when we talk about that.
We're going to cover this whole big discussion, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be a bigger discussion, but we'll talk next week about what you can do to replace your VPN, to move to a more secure cloud native infrastructure that allows you to expand, you know, to basically expand your security and keep your business safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tend to tell people, you know, that the VPN solution they have, it's legacy, and in fact, you know, once people get into the VPN, they got access to everything, and because of the way that many people have put these things together. And you know, do you really want the servers that your kids have been connecting to on that PC that you're now trying to use for work connecting to your office network?
It's kind of all or nothing.
Boy, we can go deep with this. We'll have a deeper dive on SASE next week.
Yep.
You guys have anything that's happened last week, just to finish this off? A little personal update.
No, stop in for SASE, and we will try and provide some more education and options, because we're probably going to see more fallout this week of people that didn't heed the warning from SonicWall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so we might hear about a few more breaches.
Do us a favor, drop us a line, drop us a comment. Are you using a VPN of any sort in your business? Well, client VPN. Not necessarily site to site, but do you have to have a VPN to connect to your company? Or are you?
And if you walk into the server room in your office and you see a SonicWall device and you don't have an IT guy because it was installed years ago, reach out to one of us and let's talk, because the risk is real. The old devices are what's vulnerable, and we're here to help.
Yeah. So you guys have a good rest of your week. We'll talk SASE next week. I do have an Australian cattle dog, and he's very sassy, but this is a different type of sassy, so I'll leave you with that.
I see what you did there.
Uh-huh.
All right. Until next week, gentlemen.
Until next week, guys.